Hey, I'm Brian from BrianKeithFitness.com, qualified personal trainer and sports nutritionist. If you're a GAA player, here are some top tips for your off-season. As a strength and conditioning coach and sports nutritionist, the off-season is one of my favorite times to work with players. But you don't need a coach, you don't need a trainer, and you don't need a program to maximize your off-season. And here are some tips that can help you do that. Number one, have a specific plan and a specific goal or target. When it comes to your off-season as a GAA player, you have a window of time now where you can focus on bringing up weaknesses or working on secondary goals. For example, if you found that you were getting pushed off the ball very easily during the season, you might have some form of strength element in your program for the off-season. If you put on a little bit of weight over the last few weeks, or your body fat levels have gone up because you haven't had that intense training session in games, you might have a secondary goal to get a little bit leaner. Or contrary to that, you feel a little bit small, you want to get bigger and add muscle. Those secondary goals can all be worked on in the off-season, but you have to get very clear on your plan on the front end. And that starts with getting specific on your goals. What are you looking to do? Are you looking to get stronger? Are you looking to get leaner? Are you looking to get bigger? Are you looking to get faster? Get clear on the goal and then design the plan around it. Number two, experiment with your nutrition. One of the downsides of sports nutrition is it's quite difficult and a little bit tricky to experiment with it in the middle of a season. The last thing you want is a stomach upset before a game or a big training session that massively hinders your performance. And switching up your food can do this sometimes. But the off season is a perfect time to experiment with that and see what foods work well for your body. And it's also a perfect time to start experimenting with things like carb loads if you've never done it before. What I normally recommend to my GA players in the off season is use your carb load before your biggest session of the week. Normally a leg session in my program. So what that looks like is a gradual or massive increase in carbohydrates the 24 to 48 hours before that workout. Keep your glycogen levels full and keep you fueled for the workout. And then you can test this. Did you work better with sweet potato versus quinoa? Or oats better than rice? How did your body respond? And then you can take that information from the off season and apply it for the entire following season without the risk of anything bad happening or potentially rushing to the toilet midway through a game or midway through a session. 3, experiment with training styles. The off-season is a really good time to start experimenting with some other training styles, especially if you're someone who likes to work out. Certain plans like bodybuilding style workouts, CrossFit style workouts, powerlifting style workouts, these can come at the detriment of your actual performance midway through the season. So they're generally not recommended, at least not at their intended intensity. But the off-season is a different kettle of fish. You can experiment with these and use it as a way to keep your fitness levels up during the off-season, or potentially work on those secondary goals that we've already discussed. So if you want to mix and match it, you can. And now is the time to do it. Of course, I'm always going to have a personal preference to having some form of strength and conditioning element within those programs so that you don't find that your performance drops when you go back to the pitch in January, February or March. But it's totally up to you how you want to design it. And if you're like me and have a little bit of training ADHD and need to mix things up regularly, then now is the time to do it. It doesn't matter if you're sore for a week after a powerlifting workout, you don't have a game at the weekend. It doesn't matter if you're not recovering from your CrossFit sessions because there's nothing to train for at the minute. It doesn't matter if you feel a bit stiff and rigid for a few weeks on a bodybuilding program, you don't have anything coming up soon. So use the off season efficiently and experiment with different training styles if that's something that you want to do right now. Number 4, now is the time to experiment with supplements. Now, I should probably preface this part. As a sports nutritionist, supplements are probably 5% of your overall progress. The other 95% comes down to your nutrition, your training, and your sleep. But supplements can be that final piece of the jigsaw. So now is the time to experiment with them because you don't know how your body's going to respond. So if you've been thinking about trying creatine to help improve strength and explosiveness, or beta-alanine maybe to help buffer the lactic acid, or maybe it's just some essential amino acids, branched chain amino acids or otherwise to help speed up recovery, now is the time to do it. And then use this as a time to test it. The things that work the best for you, keep them in your locker for the middle of the season next year. Things that don't, drop them, discard them, and don't waste your money on them again. Now is the time to do this, and the off-season gives you the perfect window for it. So with your training, with your nutrition, with your supplementation, use this period of time to experiment and find what works best for you so you can improve your performance or hit your secondary goals ahead of the new season. So there you have it, 4 tips for your GAA off-season. Hopefully you got a lot from this video. Does anything jump out at you? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like and subscribe for videos coming each and every week.